think we all have a pretty good sense of what the basics are of anti-gay. There's a sentiment of central biblical quotations, but I keep wanting to frame of the dialogue about transgender issues is, I think, more opaque to me and to many of us. And so my question is, what's the fundamental problem, if you will, for the churches who oppose transgender equality? What's going on theologically around that question, and what are some effective responses?
Great question. This is not a terribly biblical answer, at least at first. I think the real root of the problem is that what this struggle is, if you step back far enough and look at our struggle for LGBT equality, you keep coming back to misogyny and patriarchy. I'd like to think that our movement is the beginning of the end of patriarchy. And if you look beneath homophobia, again, you don't have to go too deeply, you get back to misogyny. That is to say, think about it. Heterosexual men don't have a huge problem with lesbians. In fact, in Playboy from time to time, there were 2 women in a photo shoot and so on. What makes them crazy is the notion of a man allowing himself to be treated like a woman. I mean, after all, women were created to be used, right? I mean, this was Adam's, comfort. So they're used to being at the bottom of the totem pole. But men, because it's better to be a man, of course, have this privilege. And for a man to give up his privilege as a man and to allow himself to be treated like a woman is just simply the worst. In ancient times, it was not uncommon for a marauding and victorious army to win a battle and then rape not the women, but the men. Because it was the most humiliating thing you could do to a man was to treat him like a woman. And you'll remember not too long ago, it was still argued in court in a case of gay bashing that the reason somebody took a baseball bat to someone else's head was that he made a pass at me. Now, if we locked up every heterosexual man who had made a pass at a woman, the streets would be empty, right? But for a man to do the same thing, to treat another man as a piece of meat, is simply beyond the pale. So there's even some evidence, and scholars are looking into this, that quotation from Leviticus about a man shall not lie with a man as with a woman, that the insertive partner was treated less harshly than the receptive partner, because it was the receptive partner who was allowing himself to be treated like a woman. At least the insertive partner was still acting, quote unquote, like a man. So to get back to the transgender thing, I think the problem here is that whenever gender identity comes up, the hierarchy of which is better, masculine or feminine, comes up as well. And it raises issues that, for the most part, men don't want to look at. Because for a very long time, men have been making most of the decisions for most of the people in the world. Mostly white, Western, educated, straight men. And that's what I mean about the end of patriarchy. So I think it has been biblical roots, in the same way that misogyny has biblical roots. In the New Testament, of course, you've got St. Paul saying that women should keep their heads covered and their mouths shut in church, which is why women's ordination is such a big deal. And at the end of the day, I think transgender people raise for us the notion that gender isn't so easily described, that there are enormous variations in the natural order, and then if you raise the question of even if you're only dealing sort of male-female, you're back to the hierarchy. Is it better to be a man? Presumably, that's what all the doctors who, when presented with newborns that were born with both sets of genitals, it was the female organs that were removed. Because if you had a choice, my God, of course you would be a man. So I think it raises all those issues, and clearly we've got a lot of work to do around gender and Scripture. Phyllis Tickle has got what she calls the texts of terror that have been used to subjugate women all these years, texts from the Scriptures. We've got our own 7 texts of terror for LGBT people. But this is why I think we have, and pardon me if you were there last night, why we have got to see the intersections between racism and sexism and heterosexism, because the dynamics are the same and they are intimately locked together. And the same kind of hierarchy that we have around male and female, we have about white over people of color, and they